Show your calculations and remember your units. A student walks at a constant rate of 1.5 feet per second on his way to his math class. He leaves the library, which is 240 feet from Mr. Bryce's room. Answer how long it takes the student to reach Mr. Bryce's room in the following methods. Number one, make a table with appropriate intervals. Okay, so first of all, I know that distance equals rate times time. Distance equals rate times time. So the distance is 240 feet. The rate is 1.5 feet per second. We don't know how long it takes. Why am I doing this? Oh, well, other than the fact that it's actually the second question that we have to answer, I want to know what the appropriate table is. If I know how long it takes, I know what the intervals for the table is going to be. I divide both sides by 1.5, and the answer is 160 seconds. It says, remember your units. If you don't have seconds, then I will think it took 160 hours, and it will be wrong. It says create an equation and solve it. That is the equation to solve it. Now, we know that we're going to have to go up to 160 seconds. So let's think. I'm not quite sure how many times I told you this week or in last week that time is always the independent variable. So time is going to be on that side of the table. And then distance depends on how long you've been walking. That's why it's the dependent variable. So it goes on the right-hand side of the table. Now, if we know that time has to go up to 160 seconds, I'm not going to count by ones. So in fact, I'm not even going to count by tens. I'm going to count by 20s. 20 seconds, 40, 60, 80. Now, if I like to do calculations, I can take this distance equals rate times time formula and say that the distance is 1.5. Let's do rate times time instead of time times rate. 1.5 times 20, which is 30 seconds. But if I want to do it quick, I grab my calculator and let it do the calculations for me by hitting the y equals key. See that? It's the red one right now. I type in the equation d equals rt. Well, guess what? We don't have a d. It's a y. That's the dependent variable. The rate we already know is 1.5, and t is there, xt, and theta. So we can let it do the calculations for us by hitting second graph. It does the calculations for us. I just set the calculator to the proper units and make sure that you copy it down. 30, 60, 90. Oh, wait, I see a pattern here. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240. So I guess I didn't need the table and the calculator after all because there was a pattern. So there, both questions were answered. Number 2. Desserts are placed on a table in a pattern above. Chef Rudy thinks that the equation of the pattern is plates equals 2 times the number of rows. Show your calculations that supports your yes or no answer. So is that the correct equation? Is Rudy right? Remember to justify your answer with a sentence. Oh, the correct equation is plates equals 2 times the number of rows plus 2. So that next part of the question immediately told me that the answer is no, and you can't say because the second part says that there's a different correct equation. It just says show your calculations to support your yes, no answer. Row number 1, plates equals 2 times 1, which is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 does not equal 4. That's why it's no. Let's say the first row was right. Then plates equals 2 times the second row, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which does not equal 6. So it's still no, it doesn't work. The correct equation is plates equals 2 times the row plus 2. Well, that's 4. And it does equal 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equals 4. Yes, correct. Construct a table that will make it. So the row and the plates. Row 1 has 4 plates. Row 2 is 2 times 2 plus 2. That equals 4 plus 2 is 6. And you know what? When you go up to the diagram, it does have 6, as we already showed. Plates equals 2 times 3. 2 times 3, row 3, plus 2 is 8. Let's see how many work, because we never counted that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It checks. 3 is 8. I am now done. Now let's do part 3. Using the equation, predict how many plates are in the 10th row. The number of plates equals 2, 10th row, plus 2, 10th row. This is 20 plus 2 is 22. That's the first page of your practice test. If you are confused, rewind it, listen to it again for 6.5 minutes. Circle the expression. Is A an expression? I don't think so, because there's a equal sign. Is B an expression? No, because that's an inequality sign. Is C the expression? Yes, because there is no comparative sign. There's no equality, not equal to, less than, greater than equal to, greater than, less than. So that's why it's an expression. There's no comparative sign. It doesn't compare to anything. Circle the equation. That's the one with the equal sign. Does that have an equal sign? No. Does that have an equal sign? No. So you just have to check all of them because, I may say circle the equation. There are 2 of them that are an equation that you'd have to circle 2 of them for. Evaluate. If you remember, evaluate means find the numerical answer. Evaluate. X squared. The -2 has to go in parentheses. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Otherwise, the calculator will lie to you. -2 has to go in parentheses. Any negative number goes in parentheses. You type that into your calculator all at once and get the answer. And after typing into the calculator, we get 20 as our answer. Is it really 20? Yes. -2 times -2 is 4. And then 3 times -2, or -3 times -2 is +6. So it's +6 and then +10 at the end. We get an answer of 20. A guppy is swimming at a constant rate of 2.5 miles per hour. Pretty fast for a guppy. Create an equation that gives the distance the fish has swum if you know the time t that it was swimming. Let me see, distance. Distance equals rate times time. The rate is 2.5 miles an hour. Create an equation, the distance fish swum if you know the time it was swimming. So there we go. The distance equals 2.5 t, 2.5 t. There's the equation. Now use the equation to solve how far. And I realized that this was a mistake. It's supposed to be how long, how much time the guppy swam if it traveled for exactly 8 miles. Round your answer to the nearest tenth place if necessary. So now we write down the equation again. Do I have to? Yes, you do. Distance equals rate times time. The rate is 2.5 hours, 2.5 miles, per hour, 2.5 t. Now, how long? If it was 8 miles, miles is distance, so that's 8 equals 2.5 t. Divide both sides by 2.5. And we get exactly 3.2 hours. Don't forget your units. Question number 7. If there are 24 fish per fish tank, and Mr. Bryce has 27 fish tanks, then how many fish does he have? 24 fish per fish tank. There's 1 tank, there's 2 tanks, there's 3 tanks, there's 4 tanks. Wow, that's going to take a long time. There's 5 tanks and there's 27 fish. per tank. There must be an easier way to do it. Oh yeah, 27 and 27 is 54. So that's 54 and that's 54. There still must be an easier way to do it. Think, 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 think. Oh, what if I do 24 fish times the number of tanks times 27, and that's going to give me how many fish I have, right? Because remember that multiplication is just a quick way of addition. So that equals 648 fish. If you have any questions or if you're confused a little bit, you can rewind it to 6 minutes and 30 seconds and you can listen to this side of the page again. Have a great night.